Oh, Nick, stop that. Jeez, not why we're going live.
Well, it couldn't wait, Justin.
I know.
Hello. Happy
Hello.
Wednesday, all of
Hello.
you freaks and geeks out there. It's
Hi.
your boys, Nick and
Hello.
Justin. Justin, we're back here. We've been keeping up with our schedule. We've been showing up on Wednesdays.
I like this schedule. I like this Wednesday schedule.
I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too. So we
We
have
we are
not missed
not
one show.
no,
Not one.
no. And normally we are very prone to
Be a little
not
delay.
yeah,
We're like
not
this
keeping
week.
things not keeping things totally fluid. So, what's up everybody?
Hi,
Yeah,
everybody.
as you guys saw by the title and by the thumbnail, what we're going to be talking about tonight. If you're a fan of this series, we want you taking part in this conversation with us. Oh my god.
Please.
um Please do. Obviously, the new movie comes out tomorrow. I will be seeing it tomorrow. Can't wait. So excited. Justin, when are you going to check out Insidious, The Red Door?
I'm going to try to check it out this weekend, if not next week. But my goal is to watch it this weekend. So
You better.
that's my goal because I want to talk about this movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, yes. And thank you, Star Court Food Court. I love the name, by the way. Yes, I reviewed Insidious Chapter 1. So I got
Yes, Justin did on his channel.
yes, so I'm gonna review all of them. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to see Insidious The Red Door before all these reviews are finished. So I'm probably going to talk about it with you, but review, like record the video, and then after I'm done with the first four movies, then I'll post my review. So
Nice. To everybody that's in here so far, Mark, Rudy, Nathan, Sam, T.
hello.
Parker, Brandon. I haven't seen and Jacob, what's up? I haven't seen season 2 yet, and I need to see it because I loved season 1 of The Bear, and I've heard only great things about season 2. I don't know why I haven't watched it. You know what? I have my kid tonight, which I normally don't on Wednesday nights, but I'm not going to have him this weekend. So I'm going to probably start catching up on some stuff starting tomorrow. I filmed a video yesterday, Justin. I'm really excited about it. It's going to come out
Ooh, tell
tomorrow.
me.
Yeah, it's coming out tomorrow on my channel. And
Okay.
I talked about the X trilogy and Ty West as a filmmaker in general.
Ooh.
Yep, talking about Maxine and Pearl and X. And I'm really excited to drop that bad boy tomorrow. Actually, no, that won't drop tomorrow because tomorrow will be the Insidious review. So that'll drop Friday. You guys know me when I go see a movie that I want to see, especially, big horror movies.
Yes.
I will do a spoiler-free review tomorrow on my channel right after I get out of the theater. I'm going to see the movie literally straight from work. So I'll have it up at a decent time. But what's up, Richard? Akeem, how's it going? Brandon, that's not my choice. If it's for Unita, you got to talk to the boss, homie.
Yeah.
But Justin, I want
Yes.
you to bring the people in.
Okay.
Oh, Rudy, nice. Your
Oh,
second date.
nice. Look at that.
Yeah,
So,
Rudy might be getting committed here soon.
oh,
Yeah, he's not saying that, but I'm saying that. I'm trying to speak it into existence. So
Mr. Deadlight, real quick. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 rocks.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. But what were you gonna say? I interrupted you.
Well, I was gonna, no, you're good. I'm tossing this over to you, Justin. You've told me this story a few times. I'm sure that some of the people have heard this story, but some of the people might not have. Justin, take us back to when you saw Insidious for the first time in the theater.
So I always like get the dates a little mixed up
This was
because
2010.
2010. So I had just moved back to Kentucky. So this is like significant for me because I lived in Arkansas for a while, moved back to Kentucky where I am now, and I had probably about a month after moving here went to go see Insidious chapter, not Insidious, just Insidious
Chapter 1.
chapter 1, and it was one of the scariest theater experiences I had. Um, and I always joke and say that like when I watch the movie, I
Don't blame it
either
on the
have
air conditioning. We know it was you.
oh yeah, I think it was Goosebumps all the way. But like I was like sitting under an air conditioning, so I always joke that it was like the air conditioning, but it was really me because if you guys go to movies with me, especially scary movies, yeah, I'm one to get scared easy. And I'm like that one guy that like jumps into like, will jump at like the goofiest jump scares. I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen there?
Yeah, see, jump scares never ever really got me. There's a few that I can think of off the top of my head that had their desired effect, but yeah, most of the time. But I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you,
Hmm.
this movie, man. The first time I saw this, I didn't see the first one in theaters. Now I rectified that by seeing every other one that came out after this one in
Yes.
theaters,
Yes.
but I didn't see
Same.
the first one in theaters. I think this kind of flew under my radar, and I mean, granted, I was like 16 when it came
Uh-huh.
out. But I remember the first time I watched it, that scene with the lipstick face demon
Oh,
behind
oh gosh.
Josh's mom when she's talking. Yeah, that was one of those jump scares that was undeniable. Like
Yeah.
it was undeniable for me. And so I this movie like kind of stuck in my craw the first time I saw it. I think that we've seen movies similar to this. We've seen paranormal movies, ghost story movies and
Yeah.
possession movies and stuff like that. But I think the thing that Insidious did that was really cool was center this on a family. It was less about the ghosts and
Hmm.
demons and whatever it might be, and it was more about the family dynamic,
That's exactly right.
while also giving us a really cool world to play in. The further, like I thought that was super cool. It's like a mirror dimension, you know.
Something we had never really seen before. I don't think we
Yeah,
had ever seen something like that before with a haunted house movie.
yeah, yeah.
And
I don't know.
I love it. I rewatched it twice recently, and yeah, it still holds up. That whole further concept is great. So
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you. So like the first time you saw this movie, you said you saw it in theaters. Were you a
mhm.
fan as soon as it was over? Were you like, oh,
Oh yeah,
that movie was awesome?
instant fan. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I loved it right away. And you know how like sometimes you'll rewatch a movie for a second time, you either love it less or love it even more.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it even more. Like it's never been a movie that I've loved less and less. Like it's still for me is awesome like it was the first time I saw it in theaters. And yeah, I walked out of the theaters really happy with it. I didn't know too much about it going into the movie. I think I might have seen like a small trailer for it. I knew that James Wan, who just directed Dead Silence, which is one of my favorite movies, was directing this movie and Lee Wynell was writing it.
Mhm.
But I had no idea pretty much anything about this movie. So yeah, walked into it not knowing much, walked out absolutely loving it.
Yeah, so it was the same thing for me. That is a hot take, T. Parker. We'll get there, but yeah, I mean, I was a fan. I was a fan the first time I saw it, and I was really, really, really kind of kicking myself that I didn't see it in the theater because really wanted to see that jump scare happen in the theater. I think that would have been insane.
That was a good
Um,
jump scare. I was
mhm.
gonna say my favorite moment besides that, that gets under my skin is when they're doing not really the seance, but when they're in Dalton's room and Lin Shaye puts on that gas mask, and
Mhm.
I that creeped me out in theaters.
Yeah,
That whole
I
segment.
thought that scene was. I thought that scene was building up to something even bigger, but which is it's a credit to the movie because it like keeps you in suspense. You're on pins and needles. You're expecting something huge to happen, and it doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen. It's a freaky scene, but you don't get like the demon comes out. No, but the movie does so well in that moment of making you think shit's really about to go down. But again,
Oh,
we've talked about this a million times. That's James Wan.
oh
That
yeah.
is James Wan. I mean, when it comes to modern horror filmmakers today that can create that kind of dread and suspense and tension, there's nobody better, in my opinion, than
No,
James Wan today. I mean,
absolutely.
it is why you and I have both agreed, and I think a lot of people watching also agree. that it's why The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It feels so tonally different than the first two. While I still think it's a good movie, it's just, it feels so different because those two movies are really, really about building up this dread and this fear and then paying it off. Whereas in the third one, it was like, oh,
it was like a more mystery.
Yeah.
Not thriller, but a mystery.
Yeah.
There's a couple things about the first one that I really love. Obviously, I think the performances are great, and I really love this family, and I love the cast.
I got to tell you something, Justin. Christian took me to task over this. If you guys listened to the podcast a couple episodes ago, Christian was talking about how he can't take the dude seriously. The vampire looking dude that has like the big trench coat and the long hair walking around the crib.
He scares the crap out of me. I was going to tell you, there's a scene.
I was going to say the same. It's Christian started laughing at me. He's like, bro, I can't. He's like, it makes me laugh every time I see him. I was like, dude, he creeped me out.
He creeped me out too, especially the first time when you first are introduced to him and he's walking outside what looks like a ledge or something. I don't know. He's outside.
Well, it's almost like a balcony. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see him in the room and he looks at her and he does that like really creepy noise. And it, oh my gosh. Like, that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he freaked me out too. Jacob, I would put James Wan, for me, he's definitely top 10. I think,
directors of all time?
Horror directors of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's top 5 for me. I think he's top 5 for me. Yeah,
it'd be close, but and maybe that's some recency bias too, because there are some great ones.
No, there are without a doubt. Like I would say probably, because we talked about this. I always go back and forth. Like as far as like modern horror movie directors go, I love Mike Flanagan, but I love James Wan too, and I think those two directors are kind of neck and neck sometimes. Like which one's my favorite horror movie director of today's time?
Yeah, and by the way, Brandon, I'm sorry, man. I haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, man. So I'm really.
You've never seen it?
I never even saw Ghostbusters 2016.
Well, I personally really enjoyed 2016. I know it got a lot of hate, but I love Afterlife. And if you love those first two movies, especially the first movie, there's a lot of heart and nostalgic stuff in it. So
yeah, and Richard
Carpenter rocks. My favorite director.
Richard, you'd have a hard time getting me to disagree with that take. The only caveat I would say is I personally think, for me, Mike Flanagan. I would say Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
That's only because while I think that James Wan maybe has a better oeuvre overall. Like I think he might have the better resume, but Mike Flanagan's best movies and projects are some of my favorite things I've ever seen. Midnight Mass is one of my favorite things I've ever watched in my entire life. And Dr. Sleep is one of my favorite horror movies ever. So I'd probably go Flanagan, but then it's James Wan literally right next to him, because The Conjuring is still the scariest movie theater experience I've ever had. Still to this day.
Movie theater experience. That was,
that movie fudged me up, man.
I was going to tell you, I agree with Mike Flanagan a little over James Wan, just because anything I've seen of Mike Flanagan, I absolutely love. Everything I've watched, I love his work.
I'm telling you, Justin, you've got to watch Midnight Mass.
I got to watch that one. I've heard that is probably his best thing.
It made me cry like 2 or 3 times.
Wow. That's,
It's deeply emotional and impacting, but also it's such a good story, man. It's so good. It's so good.
I might watch it tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's like 8 episodes, so you wouldn't be able to finish it tonight, but you need to start it. I'm telling you. There is a scene in episode 4 or 5 where they're talking on a couch about what happens when you die. And that scene messed me up. If you guys have seen Midnight Mass, you know what I'm talking about. They get in real detail about what they both believe happens when they die. And as somebody who's one of my biggest fear is death, that really deeply affected me. And then the next episode, something happens on a boat at the end of the episode, Justin, that will leave your jaw on the floor. Like you're like,
Ooh,
what the? And oh my god, it's so good.
I
It's so good.
I will watch that. I was gonna say the reason why I think James Wan is my second favorite modern horror movie director is because I do have mixed feelings on *Malignant*. Like that's the only one I like it. I do like it, but
It was very different for Juan.
it was different. And I think when I go and rewatch it more and more, I'll appreciate it more. But outside of that movie, like I love every other thing he's directed. Like there's been not one movie, even the stuff that's outside of the horror movie stuff, I've loved a lot of his stuff. But if we're talking about his horror movies in general, I love every one of them. And *Malignant*, I do enjoy that one.
Well, and then Saturn Video, Mark comes in and says, existential to the very core. That couch conversation blew me away. Yeah, Justin, I'm telling you. I am telling you. You're going to cry.
Yeah.
You're going to be freaked out. You're going to be so emotionally invested in some of these people. It's phenomenal. You've got to start it but you still haven't finished Stranger Things.
I know. I'm so behind on things. I really like when it comes to Stranger Things, like I need to just rewatch the whole series because I feel like when I start season 3, I'm like, okay, I know the characters, I know what's going on, but I think if I rewatched 1, 2, and then finished the rest, I'd be more amped up.
Yeah, I actually did a rewatch leading up to 4, and it's quite a journey because you know it's a lot, but it's totally worth it. It's
that's what I'm gonna do. Rudy. Hey, Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy knows.
It's not like Walking Dead. Like Walking Dead, I'm like I got lost with Walking Dead like season 4. And I'm like, maybe I'll go and rewatch the whole series. I'm like, there's like 12 seasons now, and I'm just kind of like lost in the forever with that one. I'm lost in the further with that show. But
yeah, hey, Rudy, I'm telling you, Rudy's coming for you, Justin.
That's okay.
But yes, season 4 is phenomenal. It is phenomenal of Stranger Things. It's easily the best season in my opinion.
You know what? A Mike Flanagan moment for me though was, I mean, there's been a lot of moments, but it's the first season of Haunting of Hill House, and it's that, and I won't spoil it if you've never seen it, but it's where he just did the one shot through the house, and you have all the characters there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what's okay? Because I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but it leads to a death in this at the end of the episode. It's probably the most talked about episode, but I just love how he directed it, and it was so emotional. And yeah, that was a great episode.
Yes, yeah. Talk to Me looks pretty good. I was surprised, Nick. I watched that trailer, and I was like, this looks pretty interesting. I'll definitely check that out. That's A24, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's A24. So we'll see if there's. I will definitely check that out. Ghoul Games, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Oh yeah, we're talking. We
went a little too long on the first one, so whatever. Now we go to the next movie in the series that is much maligned. Much maligned. A lot of people say, without a doubt, hands down, it's the worst movie in the series. I would disagree. It is not my least favorite in the series, but that is Insidious Chapter 2, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter Dos. So Justin, this was the first one of the Insidious movies I saw in theaters. I remember kind of feeling like I did with The Conjuring 2 in one way, of being like, oh, that wasn't as scary as the first one, but I really liked the story. Insidious Chapter 2, I feel like, gets an unnecessary amount of hate. Like it really does. There's some weird stuff, like using Lynn Shay's 70-year-old voice over, a woman in her like 20s or 30s. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No.
Yeah, that was like, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that.
Yes, I agree.
But Chapter 2 did what the first one did, talking about the, like focusing on the family, and upped it. It was all about the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And this was really like Josh's movie. And I really dug that. I really dug that. Now, I will say, like I said, it's just not as scary to me as the first one. And maybe it's the same thing as maybe The Conjuring is the same way because like after the first time, the novelty kind of wears off a little bit. So you can't ever expect it to be
Mm-hmm.
as affecting, maybe. But I
Yes.
really, really liked chapter 2. And I was surprised over the years to find when people would talk about the Insidious movies, my God, did they rail against this one? I mean, so many people think this movie's a heaping pile of duty.
I don't see. No, I don't. I don't see
I was
that
going to
now.
ask you, Justin, you tell me about the first time you saw it, how you felt about it, and how you feel now.
Okay, so this is like the one that like was like a big 180 for me because this I think was the year. It was the same year, or they were very close together, where The Conjuring came out and Insidious Chapter 2 came out. I think it was the same year. I could be wrong.
Yes, 2013.
So, walking into Insidious Chapter 2, I was expecting to love it because I love the first one. The first one just scared me, and it still gets me today. But I really loved The Conjuring. I was a big fan of The Conjuring. So I walked into this, I was like, well, this James Wan cannot do wrong. And I walked out very disappointed in it. Like, I was not a fan the first time I saw this movie. But I think it was one of those experiences that, like, when I watched the movie, I was expecting more from it. But rewatching it over the years, I love it. I love this movie. It's not as scary as the first one, but it's a fun haunted house movie with, again, great performances, and it grew on me so much. Like, this one grew on me a lot.
Yeah, I've got to say really quick. No, yes, it's not a hot take because I
Um,
agree. I prefer The Conjuring 2 over the first one.
I,
But
I
I will
prefer the
say I
first
think the
one.
first one's scarier. I do think the first one is scarier, but I like the second one more because I think it's a better story, and I think
Um,
it's got more of an emotional core to it.
Part two has one of my favorite moments in any of the Conjuring movies, and that's the scene where
Yeah,
Lorraine is
yeah. Oh, never mind, never mind. I thought you were going to say the scene that I was thinking of.
where Lorraine Warren is sitting down with the little girl outside, and she's talking about
Uh-huh.
the this what this little girl's going through. It's a heartbreaking moment. It's one of the best scenes in a movie. And that actress, that little girl, she is such a great actress in that.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. One of my favorite scenes in the Conjuring series is in The Conjuring 2, and it's not what you would think. It's literally when what Ed is just singing,
Oh,
but I can't help
Elvis!
falling in love. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's just so awesome. I love that scene. That scene just kind of encapsulates the kind of like emotional core that I'm talking about with the second movie.
I agree.
Yeah, I do. I do ghoul games. I believe in spooky ghosts.
I do
Okay.
too.
I've seen
I
some
do.
things. I've seen some
I am.
things. But yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's like, and I remember that this, I mean, blew up financially, obviously, just like the first one,
yeah,
made a ton of
yeah,
money. You know, everybody's going to see it. This is kind of like the new thing. This is the
yeah,
next big thing. And
yeah.
James Wan at this point, you know, in a span of 3 years, had Insidious Chapter 2, and The Conjuring. So like you
Yeah.
knew this guy was, you know,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
something. And I mean, obviously these weren't his first movies, but this is when I
Actually
think he
making
really,
back.
really broke into the mainstream because everybody talks about Saw. Yeah, he did Saw, and Saw's a great movie, but people still didn't really care that much about James Wan after
And
Saw.
and you gotta think, and I know I was gonna say, like, after Saw, you think his other two movies would have been hits, but like Death Sentence, which is a great revenge flick, by the way, with Kevin Bacon, awesome movie. Um, didn't what was it? Sorry, I got distracted.
Oh,
It
you're good.
didn't
You're
do
good.
well, but it's a fantastic movie. And then probably my favorite James Wan movie, Dead Silence,
Yes.
didn't go anywhere. Like, that's a movie that over time has built a fan base, and I hear more and
Mhm.
more people talking about it. But no
Yep.
one was really talking about the movie when it first came out.
No,
So
no, not at
yeah,
all.
like Conjuring was that movie, like you said, that or Insidious,
Insidious, yeah.
Conjuring and Insidious 2 were those films that got people really talking about James Wan, and that's what put him, like you said, in the mainstream.
And now he does, you know, he did Fast 7. He did
Aquaman.
Aquaman and the Lost
2.
Kingdom. Yep.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. James Wan said it sucks. I mean, it sucks as a horror fan. But James Wan said he didn't want to really do any horror
Yeah.
movies anymore. Like he did horror movies at the beginning because he felt like it was a good way to get his foot in the door. You know, these low cost movies
Yeah.
that you can really make a name for yourself with. And then once you make a name for yourself, go do bigger things. And he went and did bigger things. And it sucks because he's so damn good. Like he's such a good filmmaker.
He's good.
But
no, he is. Yeah.
More power to him. That's awesome. You know, he really he made his dream a reality and became a big Hollywood director. And I can't hate on him for that.
I don't think he's going to be completely done with the horror movie genre. I mean, he could come back in the future and direct another one. I wish *Malignant* would have come out at a different time because I think that's a movie that came out during the pandemic, did not do really well. Like I don't know how well it did, but it
made like 40 million.
Yeah. I guess like depending on the budget.
The budget was 35, I believe.
I think if that movie would have came out later on, I think it would have been a much bigger success for him. So
let me actually I'm gonna make sure I have that right, because I don't want to. I know that James Wan and the star of *Malignant* said that he had an idea for a sequel. So wow. So the budget, I had that backwards. The budget was 40 million and it made 35 million.
Oh, for *Malignant*? Oh.
Yes. Having said that though, I believe it was the number one film streamed the week of its release. By the end of the first month, it had been watched in over 1.6 million households. Okay.
Sweet.
Here's the thing about *Malignant* too, guys. This came out in September of 21. So we were still neck deep in a lot of restrictions and lockdowns and whatnot. So they kind of knew that it wasn't going to, blow the doors off because people weren't really back to the theater yet. Yeah. But it did respectable. And I know that they were talking about a sequel. I'd love to see a sequel to it. I thought it was a really cool idea. But, they released it. Although I will say it was supposed to be straight to streaming, Justin. It wasn't.
Oh, was it really? I didn't know that.
Wow. Yes. It was supposed to go straight to streaming, wasn't going to go to theaters. And I think that the studio looks at it as a way, and rightfully so, if you make a movie that's just straight to streaming, you might as well put it in theaters too, because you can recoup what you spent on it, maybe just in theaters, and then everything else is gravy. So at the end of the day, I don't think *Malignant* lost them any money because it almost made back its budget just at the theater, not including all the viewership that they got online. So, yeah.
I do want to talk about something with *Insidious* too. One of the things that I always loved, and I loved it even when I first saw it, was Patrick Wilson's performance, especially in that third act. Like he gave such a great performance in that movie. He always does, but he went from this nice guy to this guy being possessed by this entity, this spirit. And every time the scene where Rose Byrne and Barbara Hershey walk in the house and he's sitting at the table, I get two vibes from Patrick Wilson during that scene. I get Jack Torrance from The Shining, but I also get Kane from Poltergeist 2. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like when you watch it, it's like it's creepy. It's just so creepy.
He's very unhinged in the role, and it's beautiful. I will say, I believe the trailer does come out tomorrow, Everett. I've seen it already though because it screened. It was so weird. I don't know what's going on with this movie. It's making me worry a little bit. Warner Brothers was supposed to drop it when The Boogeyman came out, because it was playing in theaters in front of The Boogeyman for a lot of people. So people saw it, but they didn't drop it online. I don't know if they felt like it needed another pass or what. I don't know. But so T. Parker actually tagged me in it a couple weeks back on Twitter, and I watched it. It looks good. But having said that, the first trailer for The Nun looked really good too. And I have already said, guys, I do like The Nun. But I don't think it's on the level of like The Conjuring or The Conjuring 2. And
Oh
maybe that's
no.
not fair because those movies are incredible. But I do like it. But I was misled by that first trailer for the first movie because I thought it was really going to be scary. And the first scene of the nun is creepy. Love that scene, but I don't think it ever really captures that scare
Doesn't
factor
capture
again.
it doesn't capture part two scares. It does really well with atmosphere. Like the setting and
Oh, the
atmosphere for that
atmosphere is
movie is hands
awesome in The
down
Nun.
like some of the
Yeah.
best in the universe.
Yes.
And but that is a movie that's probably one of my favorites of the whole universe as a whole. I don't know where I'd rank it, but I find myself very entertained when I watch that movie. Um,
Isn't Insidious Chapter 2 the one isn't that the one where that's the one with the old guy that's like, he's got your baby. He's got your
oh
baby.
yes, do you remember?
Yeah.
I saw the first time
Mhm.
I saw that trailer, it creeped me out. He's got your baby.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what I think of. What do you think about Parker Crane as the villain in this one? You know, the
oh,
Bride in Black.
so creepy. Like there's a shot where you see the bride in black and it's Jason I keep saying Jason Patrick Wilson is like attacking. Is it, I don't know if it's his wife or something. I can't remember who it is, but you all of a sudden you see the bride and you see like his big wide eyes, and it terrifying, like freaked me out. And but that was a great performance, and that is a scary villain. And I like where they took that villain. Like in the first movie, you really didn't know too much about the woman in black, the Black
Mhm.
Bride, and then they explain it in that second movie, and it was a great villain. Great villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Parker Crane in the movie a lot too. One of I think my favorite scene in the movie, as a human being, like thinking about how this would go personally. What's up, J Dev?
What's up, Jada? What's going on, Jason?
It's probably the scene where they go into the wall
Mm-hmm.
and you've got that room that's almost, it looks like a church. Like there's a
Oh
bunch
yeah,
of
oh creeps me out
pews,
every time.
dead bodies everywhere.
Oh
And I'm
gosh,
just thinking about the smell, and like you're thinking about those corpses reanimating potentially and everything and getting up, and it's a freaky scene.
I know.
Yeah,
That's so
it's
freaky. Yeah,
yes. Very,
because you
very,
don't know if they're
very
gonna
good.
jump out or anything. Like I don't
Yes.
know.
Again,
Um,
James Wan. James Wan.
well, and I think you have an underrated performance in this movie too. And that's Parker Crane's mom in the movie. Like she's not in it a lot, but
Mhm.
like the scene she's in, like makes me jump every time I watch it.
Mhm.
Like the scene where you see the mother like in the living room and Rose Byrne sees this woman walking back and forth across the room, and all of a sudden you see the woman go, "Look what you made me do," and like just
Yep.
slapped her. Like
Mhm.
freaks me out. And that's a great performance right there. Like no one talks
Yes.
about that, but she's so good. And
Yeah,
it's
T. Parker
amazing.
says the line right there, "Don't you dare."
Don't
Yeah.
you dare.
Yeah. Oh,
um
man.
and then she wound up in Curse of Chucky. Like I didn't know it was the same woman until I watched like
Who was she in Curse of Chucky?
she was the kind of like older like mean sister. Like
Oh, my
you didn't realize
God.
that?
No.
That is her. When you go look
She's
her
a
up on
bitch in
IMDb,
Curse of Chucky, too.
she is. But yeah, that is her. Like when
Oh,
I was like, wow, did not know that until I looked her up. I was like, who is this person?
I
And it
didn't
was
know that
yeah,
either.
it's pretty great. Great little
Huh.
trivia there. So
Okay. So then, yeah, Justin and I are both fans of the second one as well. We don't really understand all the hate it gets, but you
well, I
know,
mean, it's a fun haunted house movie.
yeah, it's not for everyone, and that's okay. Even though I don't know how or why, but hey, whatever.
You have your mother's
Then
eyes.
yes, great line. Um, so then we get to Insidious Chapter 3. And I remember leading up to this movie when the first reviews for this movie came out from critics, a lot of people were saying it's not as good as the first one, but it's better than the second one. And I think a lot of people were like, okay, I didn't like the second one, so I'm going to give this one a chance. Again, just like the first two, it made buku money, made a ton of money, and it was better reviewed than the second movie. I got to tell you, I saw this movie in theaters. What's up, Creasefold?
Hello.
I saw this movie in theaters, and I got to be honest, man. I don't know. It when she gets hit by the car, it made me jump.
Mhm.
I did jump in the theater when that happened because that
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. But I did not find this movie very freaky. It's got a good cast. Everybody
Uh-huh.
did well. Dermot Mulroney,
Yeah.
again, playing a dad of a teenage girl that, a single dad of a teenage girl, just like Scream 6.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very scary. And maybe it was partially also I was really invested in the story of the Lambert family. So
Yes.
now that they weren't in it, I was kind of bumped. But yeah, I like it. I do like it, but it is easily my least favorite Insidious movie. But I don't know. Your turn, Justin. You tell me about how you feel.
Well, I saw it in theaters too. That's why I need to see Insidious 5 because that is a franchise I've seen every one of these movies in theaters. Um, but I saw Insidious 3 the weekend it came out and I loved it. It doesn't scare me now, but I think in theaters it kind of creeped me out a little bit. Uh, but I still love it today. I used to think it was better than the first one, and I used to say that it was my favorite of the three films, but I would probably rank this one. I'd say it's my second favorite of the franchise after the first
Chapter
one.
3?
Yeah, after chapter one, it's my second favorite.
Wow. So I
Yeah,
know what your least favorite is. I can't wait to get to the next movie because, buddy.
but but uh, it doesn't scare me now. I think it's just a fun sequel. I find myself very entertained with the movie,
Did you
and there's
jump when she
things
got hit by the car?
I jumped when she got hit by the car. I think you have one of the scariest entities and ghosts in this movie, and that's the breathing man. Like, freaks me out. The scene is it the scene where she's in her room and he attacks her and she's like laying on the floor and you see like the foot's like she's seeing the guy walking. Like I can't remember.
Mhm.
It's been a while since I've seen it,
Yeah.
but that creeped me that creeped me out. Um, and then the other scene that made me jump was the very last moment where you see the red faced demon, but that was just more like a jump scare thing. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on there? You know, when I saw it in theaters with Doug, my friend Doug, we watched it, and I'm watching that scene, and you see like a face or something there, and I'm like, what is she
Mhm.
looking at? I'm like, what is this thing? And then all of a sudden, the red faced demon comes up, and I like jumped out of my seat. So
I'll be honest with you, Justin. That ending pissed me off. And it pissed me off because I think everybody and their mother had wanted to see the lipstick face demon come
yes,
back.
I know.
And when you get this last minute jump scare at the end, it was like, you guys are just teasing me. You're
Yeah,
dangling the carrot that you know that I want. You know I want that carrot, but you're not going to give me it. That's another reason why I'm so excited for this new movie
me too.
because
They're bringing
clearly
him
the
back.
lipstick face demon is back. Yes. And so I need some closure there. I really do. But
I, I'll say this about three that I love too, and I apologize for interrupting you. I loved and he became a great director and directed two other great movies after this. But Lee Wynell, like, who better to step into the footsteps of this franchise after James Wan? Because rather you had mixed feelings of the movie or you loved it, like the directing was awesome. Like he did
yeah,
such a great job with it. And I love Lee Wynell, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Like we haven't had anything directorial from him since Invisible Man, and that was 2020.
which is an
So
incredible movie.
it is. I love it. And I love Upgrade. Have you seen Upgrade yet?
I still haven't.
Oh, it is fantastic. It is fantastic. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I love Lee Wynell's directing this, and we haven't talked about her yet, but like Lynn Shay, absolutely love her, and she gives a great performance in this movie.
I should have
So
never killed her in the first one.
I agree with that. Like that's always a tough thing because I'm like, well, it's like you keep bringing her back, and like it's like how far can you bring her back? But if she would have stayed alive, I think it would have been more believable.
Yeah. Well, so that's chapter 3. I don't really have much more to add on chapter 3. But now we get to the goods, in my opinion.
I love
Okay.
this one too, though. I love them all. I love them
I
all.
remember her when this movie was announced and how it was, and leading up to it, how it was an origin story of sorts for
Hmm.
Elise. And I was like, sign me up.
Yes.
I am all about this movie. This is Lin Shaye's movie. And I went and saw this movie. And I remember I mean, I was excited for her, for it to be an origin story and whatnot. But I was also kind of, I was, there was trepidation there because I wasn't the biggest man.
Yeah.
Um, man, I wasn't the biggest
Biggest
fan
man.
of chapter 3.
Yeah.
So I went with this with, yeah, tepid expectations,
Yeah.
and I loved this movie. I really, really did. I thought that the kind of wool they pull over your eyes a little bit near, in the first act of the movie, where it's just a crazy dude, like,
Hmm.
kidnapping women and stuff, and you're like, well, this isn't a ghost story.
Yeah.
And then it plays into the ghost story, basically being controlled by the keyhole demon. Um, wow. I really, really, really liked this movie. I think the keyhole demon is the coolest since lipstick face for me. I just think it's a really cool design. I
It
love the
is.
design. I love the way Javier Botet moves
Hmm.
in the get up. I obviously loved that it was centered around Elise. The supporting cast is the supporting cast. It
Yes.
is what it is. They're neither great nor bad. They're just there.
I
Um,
like them.
this is my second favorite Insidious movie,
I love hearing
and
them. That's awesome.
I remember this movie legged it out and became the highest grossing Insidious film, uh, which I was shocked by. I was shocked, but it legged it out and it became the highest grossing. We'll see if the Red Door surpasses it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Justin, take me back to when you saw The Last Key.
Well, I first want to say this is not my least favorite of this franchise.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice little twist. Maybe we'll talk about it at the end. But I saw this in theaters too. I think it was opening weekend that I saw this, and I remember like the promotion for this movie before the film. Though you had that little teaser where you had Lynn Shay. She was sitting at a table with like a deck of cards, and you had Lee Wynell walk up or something like that, and they announced that they were doing an Insidious 4. I thought that was really cool. Um, but I saw it in theaters and I loved it. I loved the backstory with Lynn Shay's character, Elisa's character when she's younger.
Oh, it's
Um,
so sad.
it's so sad. No, it's so sad. Um, I love the little twist that we kind of had midway through, where you found out that this guy was just kidnapping girls, and you didn't see that coming. So that was a really good twist. And then it continues on and goes in a little bit more of a different direction. Um, I love the fact that you find out she had a brother in this movie, and he's played by Bruce Davidson, and he does a great
Yes.
job in this.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this movie, and I still am a big fan. I still love the movie. It's not the
The
scariest.
only thing I don't like about this movie, Justin,
What's the only thing you don't like?
the only thing I don't like about this movie is the stupid, and I feel like it was forced. Oh, we're related. I have that power too.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that I
venture into the
agree.
further. I was like,
And a big
that's lame.
and
Stop.
to and to be fair too, it's like the actress from what I remember, like not the
She wasn't the
greatest.
best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the
She
greatest.
wasn't terrible, but she
Not
wasn't,
terrible,
you know.
but not the greatest. It has
No.
its flaws. But I know there is something about this I love, and that's why it doesn't rank for me my least
Oh,
favorite one.
no, Justin, there's another thing I don't like. It's
Oh,
not that I
what's
don't
the
like it. It makes sense, but it's super corny.
what is it?
Blowing the whistle and the mom shows up in the further.
Oh yeah, that too.
It's a
I
little
got
corny.
it's a little corny, but there's another complaint I have with it. Very tiny. There's the spirit or the demon that's like, come this way. Like in the trailer, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I felt like they didn't use that character too often. I thought we were gonna get more of that character, and I feel like there were scenes in the trailer that we didn't get with that character. Like, I don't know. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Um, I do like talking about the director. I This was the first movie I saw of his. but I knew he was famous for The Taking of Deborah Logan. And oh my gosh, like The Taking of Deborah Logan terrifies me. Like that. Have you seen it?
Yes, yes, I've seen it.
Scary movie. But yeah, those I guess those are my little minor complaints. It might go back and forth as my least favorite, but like
So what's your least favorite then?
Insidious Chapter 2. I don't know.
Okay.
But you know
Okay.
what? Again, this is a franchise that like so far I love every one of them. Like there's not a bad movie in my opinion.
Yeah, it's I hate franchises like this when it comes to like ranking them
I
because
know, that's so tough.
yeah, you walk away and you're like, but I like all of these
I
movies. Why
know.
do I have to pick a least favorite? But I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
You
So
gotta do it. Yeah.
another franchise I think of that's like that is Scream. It's Evil Dead.
Oh
It's
yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
know, it's serious. And usually, what's the prevailing theme here with those franchises is there's only a handful of movies. You know,
Yeah.
there's not 10 or 15 because once you get to 10 plus movies, it's very easy to have a bad one in the
Oh yeah.
bunch because you've
Oh
done
yeah.
it
No,
so
I
many
agree.
times.
I agree.
Um,
Or like you can like you watch the films and you like, okay, I like it, but it's totally my least favorite. Where like and it some of them are not painful to put that movie down at the bottom, but like franchises like this, I find very painful to put even the one I love my least favorite down at the bottom. I don't know.
yeah.
It's like that with Scream. Like Scream 4 is my least favorite, but it's hard to put it there because I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean it's my least favorite as well in that series. But yeah, it is difficult. You know, it's difficult with series like this. So it's interesting. Now that leads us to where we are now and where I think a lot of us will hopefully be this weekend, which
I hope you
is
all go see this. I want this movie to be successful.
I think it's tracking to do like 30 million opening
Mhm.
weekend for domestic, which is really good. I mean
Yes.
that would make the budget back in its first weekend. So you know, this movie, I don't know, this movie is probably, if I had to guess, you're probably looking at like close to 50 million worldwide, which means you're probably ending out around 130 to 150 million worldwide when it's all said and done, which would be in line with pretty much every other Insidious movie. So by that metric, oh, hello, Alexis.
Hello, Alexis. How are you?
We don't see you much around these parts anymore.
What you doing?
Um, but so it's going to justify them keeping this series going. But I will say, um, they've already mentioned Blumhouse has already said, Jason Blum has said this is the last one, at least for the Lambert family and
Yeah.
everything like that, which I would figure because it's, it was
Yeah.
already surprising that they got them all back for
I know
this.
every one of them came back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess here we are, Justin, going into this movie.
Okay.
Um, Alexis, are you going to be seeing Insidious, The Red Door this
Let us
weekend?
know.
Let us know. Um, how are you feeling about it? Are you optimistic?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you let me
Oh,
burrow
sorry.
in your brain
I'm
for a
sorry. I'm
minute. No,
sorry.
go ahead. I was gonna. I'm telling you. Let me. You tell me, Justin. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling excited. You know, now it's my most anticipated horror movie of the year. Just because
Wow.
yeah, I love the Lambert
Most
family.
anticipated, and you might not be able to see it in theaters.
Oh,
Come
I'm
on,
seeing this in
Justin.
theaters. No, I'm seeing this
Okay.
in theaters. No, there's no might. I'm seeing this in theaters. I don't know if I'll be able to see it opening weekend, but I am going to see it in theaters. Most likely, I'm going to see it opening weekend. I've been counting down for this movie for a long time. But it's
Okay.
my most anticipated horror movie now for the rest of the year, and I'm so excited to see the Lambert family come back. I've wanted them back since part two. Um, I love the fact that Patrick Wilson's directing this, and I have complete faith that he's going to do such a great job with this movie because he knows the source material and he knows what the fans love, and so I'm very excited about that. Um, Yeah, I don't want to hype. I never want to hype myself up too much with movies nowadays, but I'm excited for this, and I think it's going to do really well. I think people are going to go out and see this film, so I cannot wait to see it. I'm also very excited to see. Are we going to see the Saw 10 trailer out before this
I
movie?
no, no.
Okay, we won't see
The
that. I know we talked
Saw
about that. I
10,
can't.
July 28th. That
Okay.
it's either the 28th or the 29th because it's that weekend that they're showcasing footage and everything at Cinescream, I think is what it's called. But
Sweet.
I would assume the trailer would drop that Friday. I have never seen a major studio movies trailer drop on a Saturday. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to do it either the beginning of the fiscal week or the end of the fiscal week. That's usually when. And oh my God, Alexis, you
I know
are
I
a
saw that.
child.
I saw
The
that.
first one. I've
The
seen that. I
first
saw them
one.
all in theaters after the first one. The second one was the first one I saw in theaters.
It's the first
And
rated R movie I saw, by the way, was Saw 2.
oh,
In theaters.
hey.
In theaters. In
It
theaters.
might have been one of mine too. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
it might have been the wow. I'd have to think about that. But I will tell you, there's one of these movies I didn't see in theaters, and it was Jigsaw.
You didn't see that in theaters? I thought you might have seen that.
No, I liked the end of I liked the end of the final chapter. I thought it closed everything nicely, and they told us it was the final chapter, and then just a couple of years later to turn around and go, "We're back." I was like, "Nah, I'm not feeling it." Like I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
I saw that.
Wow, you
Alexis
saw The
goes,
Grudge
okay.
instead of Saw in 04. So you saw The Grudge when you were like 5? It's crazy.
I saw The Grudge twice in theaters when it came out.
I might not be wrong. I don't know how old
Scared me. That one freaked me out in theaters. It doesn't scare me now, but man, that got me in theaters.
Yeah, it did for me too. And man, watching it now, I'm like,
I like it still. I don't think I'm scared.
I think it's
like
butt. I think it's butt.
I like that though. I do like that though. I think
it's a little 4. Okay, I knew 4? I was close. I knew. Yeah,
you were 4.
Hey,
oh my goodness.
Hey, my mom took me.
No,
to
I'm
see
not saying like you were
see.
4. I'm just like I'm feeling very old now. Like I'm feeling old. Like this is, and I'm not like old, but I'm just feeling old right now.
No, you're old as hell, Justin. You're a grandpa.
I know. Like my inner spirit animal is always a little old lady. She's always in there somewhere.
But I mean, Richard, to your point, you're absolutely right. But like the thing was, Saw was getting not just buried by critics by this point, but it wasn't financially successful. 5 wasn't. It didn't end up having good legs at the box office.
You cannot make us feel bad. We love you.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. You're helping drive the conversation. What do you mean?
Are.
Yeah, maybe you should do it more often, Alexis.
I'm gonna start saying, "Well, back in my day."
Oh, here we go. But Saw 6 tanked. Like, and I really like Saw 6. But that's the only reason they were like, okay, the next one's the last one, because if we keep losing money like this, there won't be another one anyway.
Saw 6 is one of the best ones. I dropped the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, I dropped the mic. Oh my God.
You dropped it. Drop the mic.
So yeah, I just like I don't know. But anyway, here we are. Insidious the Red Door. My showtime is tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I should have a review up around 8 p.m. I'd say. It'll be spoiler free.
Love it.
I'm excited. Because it is the Lambert family back.
Yes.
The lipstick face demon is back. Darth Maul's meth head cousin. I'm very, very much looking forward to this movie. But I will say, I'm nowhere near as hyped as I was for like Scream 6, for like Evil Dead Rise. I'm excited. I am excited. But I'm not over the moon. Yes. We both think it looks good, Alexis. We talked about that a little bit earlier when you were napping.
Looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
My expectations
Yeah, I'm trying not to hype myself up because
I think
I'm like,
someone's gonna die. I think
ooh,
someone's
I
gonna
didn't even
die.
think that. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
this is the last one for the family.
somebody's got to go.
I think
Um,
someone's gonna die.
my gosh, like I will freaking cry if it's Josh. Like I will cry my eyes out. I'm like, no. Um, I think there's a minor spoiler in the trailer though, but they talk about it. I don't
No, the
want to.
mic was muted. I was talking to my son. You're good.
I think there's just a minor spoiler in the trailer though, but I think people.
Which one? What are we talking here?
Well, I think you see a photo of it, but Barbara Hershey's character, Josh's mom, I
Yeah,
think there's a funeral in it, and she passed away. So we're not gonna get Barbara Hershey. So
yeah,
maybe or
that's
maybe not.
true.
Though. You never. She might be in the further.
That's true. She probably is.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, brother?
She.
Um,
Scope.
yeah, I mean, look, man. Anytime anytime these horror franchises do this, where they come out with a movie that they're billing as the last one,
Yes.
you go into it thinking. And by the way, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not going to be the last Insidious.
Oh no, they've already announced there's a spin-off movie coming. So
yeah, and even then, they'll do a sixth movie, kind of in the same time frame, the same universe, but it won't have the Lamberts or anything like that.
yeah.
But this is the last one for this family and for Darth Maul and all these characters we know and love. And I gotta say, you go into it when you know it's the last one in a mainline universe thinking that all bets are off, because that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. I don't think all bets are off in this movie. I will say that. But I do think someone's going to die. Now, yeah, I could be wrong, and I'll be happy if I'm wrong, honestly. I don't need any of them to die. But because this isn't a slasher movie. It's very different. But I will say this. I really, really want this movie to give us some explanation, because we don't have a ton of explanation about that first movie. Who is this lipstick face demon, and why does he want?
That's what I want. Yes.
Yeah. Why does he want the kid? Why does he want the family?
Why does he keep wanting Dalton all these years later?
What is this, and why? We need some answers here.
Yes, agreed.
And so for me, as long as you're on par with chapter 2, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I do like, and you give me some answers, it's going to be successful for me. I'll be happy walking away from it.
Same here. I mean, again, this might be a series that I love every one of them because I love the first 4 movies. So it'd be pretty epic. It'd be pretty epic.
Alexis is right. That the title card for the first Insidious was deafening. It was so loud. It was like,
the theater experience was like, oh my goodness. So
yeah. Didn't the red face demon just want a vessel to cause pain? Maybe, but I just mean like the origins of it, because we got the origins of the Bride in Black.
Yeah, we never got the origins of this character.
We never got anything about the lipstick face demon.
Face, yeah.
So like for me, it's like I don't need answers. That's not what I'm saying. Like it's a demon, but yeah, like there's got to be some kind of motivation here, and you know how these movies go, especially if it's going to tie back to the earlier movies and it's supposed to be the last one. They're going to give us some answers. Are those answers going to be satisfying? We'll have to wait and see. But I saw some people talking in the live chat earlier about this. I believe T. Parker mentioned it, and I would be remiss if I did not say, I am uber interested in Patrick Wilson's directorial debut.
Me too. That's a big thing.
I really, really hope this movie makes a lot of money, and I hope it's very competently made, because if Patrick, I'd like to see him go into directing. I really would, doing both. Yeah. I will say though, Justin, I got to ask you, I saw this sentiment going around online after the trailer came out, and I can't get behind it personally, but I want to know how you feel. I'm sure you agree with me, because I feel like you would have told me by now, but there was a lot of people saying that this trailer looked super low budget. and like super thrown
No,
together and choppy and just like
no.
low quality. And I
I
was like, what? It was on Twitter when it, like in the replies on Twitter when it came out, there was a bunch of people that were like, this looks so low quality. I'm like,
no.
this is the color palette and scheme of every Insidious movie. It's
Of
very
every
drained,
movie.
like
Of
drained of
every
colors, very
movie.
muted appearance. That's the
Yes, of
Insidious movies.
every movie.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I heard about that. I was like, what trailer did they watch? Because like that's not what I saw when I watched it. It looks like
yeah.
every Insidious movie, every Insidious trailer we've had.
Mhm.
So yeah, I didn't get that either. So
Alexis, I am a Conjuring fan more.
ah,
I
oh,
will be there day one for Conjuring the Last Rites.
oh man, I go back and forth all the time. I
Yeah,
go back
Twitter's a
and
shit
forth.
show right now. Everybody's dumping on Twitter now.
I
Yeah.
I I'm gonna go hot take here. I'm gonna probably go Insidious.
Yeah. Well,
Hot take.
we can't all be right, Justin. So that's that's
I always
okay.
try to like, and I try to weigh it in. Like I weigh the movies in. I'm like, okay, which ones do I love? Which ones do I don't love? And I
Alexis,
love
were you a fan of
all.
The Conjuring 3? I got to know
I
because I remember, guys. I'm going to put Justin's feet to the fire here.
oh, he's
I
gonna put me
remember
on
after that
spot.
movie came
It's
out,
okay. I said it's my
Justin was
favorite
like,
one.
"It's my favorite. I love it." And now he's like, "It's my least favorite of the 3." And
I
then
no,
Halloween ends.
I
Halloween
said,
ends.
yeah, I know,
Justin, you're one of those people.
I know.
You need to like. It's not a bad thing because I've done that too. But like every now and then you need to be like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna watch this again before I say anything about it.
I need to
Because yeah,
do that because I'm like,
Justin, I'm telling you right now, I, I was that way after Halloween 2018. You know, I came out of that movie and I was singing its praises. And then as the years went on, I was like, you know, it's all right. It's all right. Like it's not great. It's not bad at all. It's just all right. And Christian was the same way. He came out of Halloween 2018. He thought it was like the best Halloween movie.
I
This movie's so good. And now he's like, meh.
see, but I was like the person. So Conjuring or not Halloween 2018 came out, and people thought I was crazy for not loving it. People thought I was nuts for not loving this movie, and I was like, I enjoy it. And people are like, you don't love it? And I'm like, no, I like it. It's a good
I
movie.
still don't love it.
I still don't love it either. It's entertaining, but I'm like, you know, is it? I think my problem with Halloween 2018 when it came out is like David Gordon Green was building it up as the best Halloween movie since Halloween, Carpenter's Halloween, and we're racing all these sequels. And I'm like, dude, your movie's like on like my lower list. That movie is on my lower list of the Halloween films.
I've
Like,
noticed that a lot of people that are like truly diehard Halloween fans, it's not everyone, but like a lot of them, they are lukewarm on 2018 now.
mhm.
There are some that are
I enjoy
diehard fans that
more.
absolutely love it, but I think I've noticed more on the internet more often than not, diehard Halloween fans are okay with 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of those diehard Halloween fans loved Halloween Kills.
I love
Um,
Halloween Kills. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember the first thing I said when the credits came up for Halloween Kills, and I turned to my brother and I said, "Well, that was better than the last one." And he was like, "No, I don't think so." And I was like,
Well,
"You're fucking high," and he was, but yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know, like, and again, like I said, guys, I know there are some that prefer 2018, but I just feel like as time has gone on, a lot of people, I feel like Kills is like everyone's favorite
it's
of
my
that
favorite.
trilogy.
I'll say this though, because you know me, and you when Kills first came out, I was like, it's not. I don't love it. Like I had those feelings. I had those feelings, but I love that now. So that's why I agree with you. I just need to like soak everything in, see it a second time before I like post anything because I that happens with me. Like I
It happens to all of us. I was just giving you a hard time.
oh, it's okay. I mean, my new thing is going to be like first initial quick thoughts, and then later on do a review. Because
I'll tell you from experience, Justin, sometimes with movies like that are really kind of hard to kind of put your finger on, especially if it's something you're a huge fan of,
I
because
know.
when you're a huge fan, there's just certain things you don't notice the first time you watch because you're just so like you're looking everywhere at everything. You're trying to catch everything the first time, and it's impossible to do that. I mean, like we've been there. So sometimes I with those movies, I'll be like, I need to let this sit with me. I need to like I'll do a review, but I'll say like, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like. I don't know where I'd put it right now. I need to let it sit with me for a little bit before I really can see where I'm gonna put this. But I gotta tell you, Halloween Kills in the theater was awesome.
Oh, it was a fun theater experience. I think that was a fun theater.
I saw it twice in theaters, and I didn't even need to because Peacock, but I didn't care.
I think I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Oh, there you go.
I saw it 3 times with like 3 different groups of people. So maybe 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. I know one of them I saw 3 times. I think I saw. Did I see 2018 3 times? Like I can't remember.
I know I did.
I know Ends would have been a better theater experience for me. I didn't see that in theaters. I watched it on Peacock, and I think it would have probably been a better theater experience. Like the overall atmosphere of just going to the movie is so much better.
Yeah, no, I loved
that.
God,
that is a movie.
I can't keep talking about it because it pisses some people off. But
not you guys. We love you guys, but you know
that theater experience for me for Halloween Ends was it was something. Just because I knew it was the end for JLC, and you know, I knew that it was the end of an era.
Yeah,
and the way they ended it with "Don't Fear the Reaper" was just. I literally like got a little teary eyed sitting there in the theater, and I was like, wow, like
I was more choked up, like you said, because it was Jamie Lee Curtis's last time as Laurie Strode. I mean, I grew up with her, and
she finally got her piece, though.
She did get her piece. She get her piece.
She killed that mofo.
She did. She killed him. How many times did you see the Rob films in theaters? Once
each. Yeah. With Rob's first movie, I was 13, so I was only able to go because my friend's dad wanted to go because he loved the original Halloween. So we went with him because we were obviously teenagers, and he fucking hated it. He thought it totally tarnished the original, mainly just because he couldn't stand the dialogue. Like he was like, oh, I remember just in the theater him going like, oh my god, at a lot of the dialogue. And then Halloween 2, my buddy was 18 at the time, so he like bought our tickets. But again, I wasn't driving yet or anything, so I was only able to see that once as well.
I saw them both once. I saw Halloween 07, probably a week after it came out. But I saw Halloween 2 opening night, and I will always remember that being the weekend that Halloween 2 and the Final Destination came out at the same time.
I hate being reminded of this, Justin.
I know, and I'm sorry I got to bring it up. It's like a
Final Destination won the box office.
And it's horrible. It's a bad movie. Like, I don't like that movie. It's a bad film.
It sucks.
Oh my gosh, it's an awful movie.
It's the only Final Destination movie that isn't good.
I agree with that 100%. Like, I was so devastated when Halloween 2 came out. And it didn't perform as well as I wanted it to because I loved it in theaters. And
I knew what we knew what it meant. Like we knew what it meant. We knew it wasn't going to get a sequel. Yep. We knew that Halloween 2 opened up to half of what Halloween did, and it didn't even win the box office. And I knew they're not going to make another one. Like, and that was a bummer.
And they're the company. I'm not even going to say the company's name, but like the company, their biggest, dumbest decision with any of the Halloween movies was releasing those movies in the summer. Why not release these movies in October? Like, these are the movies. This is the time you want to release your movies. And with Blumhouse's Halloween movies, they've proven October very successful for the Halloween movies.
And, well, I mean, Justin, up until 2018, The last Halloween movie to release in October was Halloween 5.
I know.
Curse of Michael Myers came out in September. H2O came out in July. Like
That's crazy.
what? Resurrection came out in August. Rob's first one came out in September. And then Rob's second one came out in August.
I know, it's crazy
So weird.
to think. It's so weird. But you know what? I remember when Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 got re-released, I think Halloween night or that Halloween weekend, and did more box office than it did its opening weekend. That's crazy. I'm like, that just proves you should have opened you what?
Yeah, I mean, look, they had no idea what they were doing with that property from the beginning. It was so clear that they were in it purely just for the money, which again, though, is kind of interesting because it's like, then why did you do what you did? Because if you're in it for the money, you'd make the most money putting it out in October. Like,
exactly.
But hey,
anyway,
you know what?
We could talk about those movies all day. I really can. I love Halloween. You're a fanboy. I'm a fanboy. Mm-hmm. I freaking love Halloween. So
well, we just got a question that I'm going to be totally honest about. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's going to make more money.
Makes more money in October.
And that's just because it's super popular with teenagers and
I don't even know what this is. Five
Nights. I know it was a game, but it was a big deal. Like it was a big deal.
I think Saw 10 is going to be a bigger hit.
I don't think so. I think Five Nights at Freddy's is going to do stupid money. But I got to be honest with you. Five Nights at Freddy's, guys, does that open the same day as Saw?
Because man.
I think it does. And if I'm Lionsgate, I'm moving my date up like 2 weeks.
Yes, I am too. Like, I hate when they put horror movies back to back on the same weekend.
It's just, it cannibalize each other. And these companies think that, oh, well, it's, we're trying to outdo this company. And it's like, yeah, but you're also cutting into your own profits because some of the people that you want to see your movie are going to want to probably see the other movie too. It's a horror movie, don't counter program like that. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. That's sad. That's really sad. You're dooming your movie when you do that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Everybody's saying, yeah, it's the same day as Saw 10 and the fan base. Yeah. The fan base for Five Nights at Freddy's. I remember the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's when it was released. It was getting the type of hype that Halloween 2018 did.
Really? I know nothing about this. Like, I need to go watch
retweets and likes. Oh, it was all over Twitter.
I'm gonna have to go watch this trailer. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So I won't be seeing Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played the game. I have no knowledge really of it, so I have no interest. But my money doesn't mean anything because it's going to make a shitload of money. So I'll be seeing Saw 10 that weekend.
Same here. Saw 10 for me. I'm excited we're getting a Saw movie in October again. That was very nostalgic for me, seeing these movies in October. It was like every October you knew you were getting a Saw movie. And that was always fun for me.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how Blumhouse has just kind of like cornered the market. Like they've taken over. Like it's insane. Like they got their hands on Halloween. And
I know.
That was when it was really like real. Like when you're like, oh, Blumhouse. Okay, these guys are going to be a big deal. And then you go
what's up, Brian Goes Blue?
Hey, what's up, Brian? You go from multiple box office hits with the Halloween movies, and then they get their hands on Five Nights at Freddy's. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, Jason Blum could probably buy anything he wants. Yeah. Like, because this is going to be a huge hit too. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. No, a majority of the time what Jason Blum releases is a hit. So
yep.
It is a hit.
He's got more money than God. But everybody's still watching. For the next few minutes, ask us some questions. We'll open up the conversation before we head out.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I have an Animeville review series coming. I'm going to be reviewing all the major Animeville movies. So stay tuned for that. I reviewed the first one. I haven't posted yet, but that one will be coming. And I'm going to review that series. I think that's a pretty underrated series. So if you've never seen any of the movies, stay tuned for my reviews because they got their good and they got their bad. So, but I'm just reviewing the 12 mainstream ones, not any of that spin-off stuff that they release straight to video. Are you frozen? Nick? Is he frozen? Nick might be frozen, people. He'll come back. I am going to be reviewing The Possession. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. My favorite one. Maybe Nick will pop up in a second. Oh, I think he's coming. Maybe. I think the further got him. The further got him.
It looked my internet was like glitching out. So
the further got him. That's what it is. The further got him.
No, it was just the internet. It was just the internet. The internet like went out for a minute. Like I was watching the bar on the laptop and it was like going up and down like it was trying to find signal. Don't know. I think
it's there you go. There you are. I thought the further got you. I was like, oh man.
Not yet. Not yet. But that is coming soon. That is coming soon.
But I'll be reviewing all the Animeville movies. That's gonna be a series
Justin,
of things.
Speaking of which, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you agree that the remake is better than the original?
No. I like the original one better.
I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I personally think the original Amityville Horror is one of the more overrated classic horror movies ever. I just don't think it's very good. I know. I think Amityville 2, Amityville the Possession is the best one. Period.
I think that's my favorite too, though. Like that's my favorite.
But I'm telling you, I just have always felt that movie was overrated. It's a classic, so it has that moniker of like being a classic. So it's like, oh, how can you say that? It's a classic, and I'm like,
well, I can't say that about every original movie because there's remakes that I prefer over the original movies.
Yeah, I think of other movies around that time period. I'm looking at you, Hills Have Eyes. The remake is better.
Oh yeah, the Hills Have Eyes remake's better.
Yeah.
The Fog's better. I'm just kidding. The Fog is not better, people.
Fucking come on.
The Fog is not better. The Fog is not better.
You just almost caused me to have a brain aneurysm. Dear God.
No. The Carpenter's Fog is one of my all-time favorites.
I love that movie so much.
I love it so much too. That's such a great movie.
Hot take, Justin. I'm not sure where I stand on it, but recently I've really started to think I prefer the. I know I'm going to get shit on in the comments.
Oh, what is it?
Are you ready for this? Recently, I have been thinking that I actually prefer the 2013 Carrie to the original.
Break my heart.
Yep.
That one breaks my heart bad.
I like the original. Like it's not a knock on the original. Like
I like the 2013 movie though.
I love Chloe Moretz in the role. I think she's great.
Hot take. I love the TV remake that came out in 2003. I think that's a great remake.
What do you think about The Rage?
I love The Rage, Gary too. That was a sci-fi movie I used to watch constantly on TV. I rewatched it not too long ago, and I love it. T. Parker, you will find out in my review series. I love Amityville 3D. That is, I love it. I love it,
guys. I said I was going to get shit on for saying it. I knew. I always preface by going, guys, I know not a lot of people are going to agree with this, and then people are like, we don't agree, and I'm like, I know.
I'm gonna sacrifice myself being in a corner right now and tell you all, I love the Prom Night remake. There, I said it. I love the Prom Night remake. Come at me.
Yeah, I saw that movie. I saw that movie in theaters with a date, and I was sad that I brought her to see it.
I saw it a week before my senior prom. Massacre me. See, there we go.
Oh, Sean. 2013 remake is better.
Alexis, okay. I'm glad you liked it. Whatever. Yeah, I was wanting to get the heat off from Nick for saying that he prefers the 2013 Carrie. But you know what? No. We got our opinions. Man.
Yeah. I know. People are going, how dare you disrespect Sissy Spacek and Brian De Palma.
That 2013 movie's fun, though. It is a fun remake. So, hot takes. That should be a stream of ours one day.
Oh, a hot takes episode. Just hot takes.
Yep, hot takes.
Hot takes. Power Rangers 2017 is the greatest Power Rangers film ever.
I love that. Both prom night movies are meh. What you talking about, Rudy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, hot take.
Prom.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 is better than 74.
First of all, it's 03 that movie came out. I think 04. I don't mean to correct.
James correct. Yeah, he corrected himself.
I'm an original fan, but you know what? The remake.
I can't say the remake's better. It's probably not better, but I prefer it.
But it's my favorite remake. Yeah. My favorite horror movie remake is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of 03.
Yeah, probably 03. Same. Probably same. Yeah, anybody that prefers the Psycho remake to the original Psycho needs to seek help. Like,
I mean, I don't prefer it, but I like the Psycho remake.
No, but that's fine. But I'm saying if you prefer it to the original,
no, I can't. No, I can't do that.
Seek help. No, Mark, I'm not kidding. I like I said, I'll meet you halfway. The original is probably a better movie. But nostalgia, man. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 was one of the first horror movies I really remember watching over and over again.
I think that's why I like the Fog remake, because I liked it in theaters.
Were you high? Were you drunk?
No. No, I wasn't drunk, but I'll tell you
this.
You
didn't have any Moscato?
Probably not. I was too young then.
Okay.
I will say this, though. It was so funny watching that movie in theaters, and everybody was scared of it, and I was sitting there going, what y'all scared of? I was like, what?
What,
looking
the fog?
Around, like, you what?
The fog?
Yeah, people were scared.
People were fucking scared of that thing?
No, I wasn't scared of it.
People were, though?
People were scared. I went with a group of friends. I had this one guy friend.
I would have just been scared to be seen out in the theater watching that.
I had this one guy friend. He had his arm like holding on to like the seat railing.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you all haven't even seen the original movie. I was like, what up, bro? Like, what's
oh
up?
My God. Justin, are you still friends with those people?
A couple of them.
You shouldn't be anymore. Cut off all communication. No more contact.
Question, did you guys
see Grind? I didn't.
I did not. No, that went out of theaters pretty quick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What
was the most pissed?
I don't think I've ever walked out of a theater. I attempted to a couple of times.
Yeah, I've never walked out, but I think he just means like, you know, the one that when it was over, that you were just so pissed that you wasted your time.
I can think of like a few of them.
The Gallows.
Not for me.
I fucking hated that movie.
Not a great movie though. Scary Movie 5. My sister actually looked at me and she was like, "Can we leave? Can we leave?" And I'm like, "We have no ride.
Yeah,
we have no ride, so we're sitting down and watching the movie that you picked you wanted to see." I love Don't Worry, Darling. Gets better, more watches Steve Barker.
I'm trying to think, man. The Gallows is the first one that comes to mind.
RoboCop remake. I turned to a friend and I was like, "Can we leave?" And she's like, "We paid way too much money for this. We're not leaving." I know there was a third movie. I sat in the theater. Fantasy fucking Island. That horrible piece of crap.
I still
was the last movie me and my friend saw in theaters before everything shut down. I said, "This is a way to go out right now. This is the way to go out for our first."
Is it really that bad?
Oh, it was horrible. It was so bad. We went on a 9:30 showing that night, and I was like, "This is gonna be fun." Like I thought it was gonna be fun, and it was nothing. No fun at all for me. Like I was like, I want to leave. Like we both stayed, but we were very tempted to leave. Like it was horrible. Horrible. Oh my gosh.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm trying to think.
And
I didn't see this movie in theaters, but I was really disappointed with Midsommar. But I've talked about that before.
I was more disappointed with Hereditary though, but we won't go there. That's a hot take.
I was pretty disappointed with The Rise of Skywalker. I won't lie.
I was disappointed. I liked it. No, I loved it.
I had a fun time with it, but coming off of The Last Jedi, I was like, yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home, I think genuinely is not a very good movie. It's the worst live action. I think it's the worst live action Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I would agree. I would agree with
It's
that one.
just not good. I just don't think it's very
I
good.
I like the movie, but it's one of those movies where it was like I finished it and I was like, okay, it's another Spider-Man movie, but the sequels got better. Rise of Skywalker was interesting because I loved it in theaters, and when I've rewatched it over time, I like it less. I'm like,
Yeah, I fell asleep last time I watched it.
oh,
I genuinely fell asleep. And it's crazy because watching that movie, you're like, God, this looks so pretty. Like it's such a gorgeous movie. And there's a ton of action, but it's just nonsensical fan fiction. Like that's the whole movie. It's just like, why is this happening? This makes no sense. Like, yeah, that movie was just, I don't care what you thought of The Last Jedi, whether you hated it or whether you loved it. When you make a movie like that as the middle part of a trilogy, you got to deliver answers in that trilogy, in that final movie. And my God, they just completely were like, we'll just do our own thing. And it was
yeah.
just, oh, no. The first
I
movie I ever saw in theaters that I can remember, ironically, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as a little kid.
was that your first? Yeah, that was. What was? I'm
That was,
always
what,
told
90? Was that 98?
99. I saw
99.
it at a mall. I saw it at a theater mall back in the day. There was a thing called you go to the mall and there was a theater there. It's very rare that you get those these days. But yeah, I saw that in '99. I wasn't a big Star Wars fan, but my friends wanted to go see it, and so we went to go see that. Oh, Silent
Yeah,
Hill
we know
Revelation.
Alexis.
Oh,
We know Alexis. We're not touching that with a
Silent
10-foot pole because Justin was the
Silent
same way.
Hill Silent Hill Revelations. Oh,
I still haven't
awful.
seen the first one.
What? You've never seen Silent Hill? That is a awesome movie. Revelations you could skip. Just
Yeah.
skip that movie.
Yeah, Christian told me that one sucks.
Hot take, Last Jedi, and I think you'd agree with this. It's my second favorite Star Wars movie after. I don't know if you rank it as your second favorite, but I know we both love it. It's my second favorite after Empire Strikes Back.
It's my third favorite. Yeah. I don't know. I think when I did my ranking, if I can recall correctly, I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
I think. Sure, Mark. Absolutely. Send it my way. I'm never going to say no to a gift. I think I put Revenge of the Sith actually above it, simply just because
I love Revenge
I'll never forget that theater experience. I'll never forget. Yeah, I'll never forget.
Oh,
what
I
that
love
meant
Revenge of the
for
Sith.
my childhood, man.
Love
Yeah,
Revenge of the Sith.
to see the birth
Oh my gosh,
Darth Vader, and it was incredible. It was incredible.
You know what's so fun though, Nick? We have our top three, like we rank them slightly different, but our top three, all of those movies are in my top three. So it goes Empire Strikes Back, Last Jedi, and Revenge of the Sith.
Were you at all surprised when you walked out of The Last Jedi seeing how many people were so pissed about it?
Oh yeah, I was very surprised. I was like,
I was like, oh, that was definitely better than The Force Awakens. Like I thought everybody was going to agree with that.
I said it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, and people are like, what? It's one of my least favorites. And I was like, no,
really, they really held Luke Skywalker up in regards that, like, and then which I get it, but I felt like it was a very believable arc for that character. But man, I walked out of that movie going, wow.
I love the fact that they took Rian Johnson was like, I'm going to do something different. And he did. And I was like, you go, man. Like, I love that. And it's so funny when that movie came out, everybody didn't want Rian Johnson to direct another movie. They were like, I don't want him to direct another one. I want him kicked out of Hollywood. Like, never let him direct another film. And then Knives Out comes out, and everybody's like, that's one of my favorite movies. I love Rian Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know. They were just like, leave Star Wars alone. All right. We're not going to get into Star Wars talk. We'll be here forever.
We're not.
It's been an hour and a half, and I need to give my kids some attention. So, to everybody that joined us again tonight, we didn't have as many people as normal, but anytime we focus on, like, a specific movie or, usually it's more people watching the playback, and that's fine. To everybody that was in here, was listening, and was participating, We really appreciate you guys being here. If you didn't leave a like yet, please leave a like on the stream. Go head over to Just Justin 1998 and watch his review of Insidious and look forward to his Amityville series coming up.
And by the way, I loved Indiana Jones 5. Hot take.
I still haven't seen it.
Hot take.
Oh,
Drop the mic.
There you go. He loved it. So, guys, thank you so much for being with us again this Wednesday evening. We'll be back next week as always. So until then, take care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully you guys can find the time to take a trip into the further this weekend. We'll see you next week.